start. In this lesson, I'm going to show you an exercise that I came up with that I call modal cycling. Now, to get the full benefit from this lesson, it'll help if you have a basic understanding and ability to play the 7 modes of the major scale. Those modes are, to review, Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. The way this exercise works is that you're going to play through all 7 modes of the major scale. I'm going to have you start with Lydian, and we're only going to do 1 octave to keep things simple. What will happen is you're going to change exactly 1 note from Lydian, and you'll end up at a different mode of the major scale, which happens to be Ionian. You'll then take Ionian, again change only 1 note, and you'll end up at a new mode of the major scale. Now, not only is it interesting that with any given mode you can change exactly 1 note to get to a new mode, but you're going to slowly be darkening the sound of each mode you're playing. So you're going to start at the brightest sounding mode of the major scale, which is Lydian, and you're going to work your way all the way down to the darkest sounding mode of the major scale, which is Locrian. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start by playing a 1 octave F Lydian scale. Now take the 4th degree of that Lydian mode and lower it by 1/2 step, and you'll end up with Ionian, if you keep all of the other notes the same. Here would be Ionian. Now, let's play Lydian followed immediately by Ionian to hear the difference. Now, if we keep all of the notes of Ionian the same, except we take the 7th degree and lower it by 1/2 step, we get Mixolydian. Let's hear how Mixolydian sounds. Let's play Ionian, followed immediately by Mixolydian, to hear how that sounds. Now if we take the 3rd degree of Mixolydian and lower it by 1/2 step, we end up with Dorian. Let's play Mixolydian followed by Dorian to hear the difference. If we take the 6th degree of Dorian and drop it by 1/2 step, we end up with Aeolian. There's the dropped 6th degree. Now, let's drop the 2nd degree of Aeolian, which is here. Dropping it gives us this note, and we end up with Phrygian. By taking the 5th degree of Phrygian and lowering it 1/2 step, we end up with Locrian, and now we're at the darkest sounding mode of the major scale. What I'm going to do now is play those 7 modes one after the other, starting with Lydian and ending with Locrian, and you'll be able to see how we gradually darken the sound of the mode. But every single mode we play is a mode of the major scale. Let's start with F Lydian. something interesting happens. When we get all the way down to Locrian, it turns out that we can actually drop the root by a half a step. Now, you're going to also have to drop the octave, since they're the same note, but take a look and see if you can tell what new scalar mode we end up at. Here's F Locrian, and here's the new mode. Locrian, and the new mode. You should see that we actually came full circle to another Lydian mode. In this case, it's not F Lydian, it's E Lydian. With that little bit of a phenomena, you can actually continue the exercise onward from E Lydian. You can again drop the fourth degree of Lydian to end up at Ionian. This time it'll be E Ionian. You've already seen this, but in F. Again, drop to Mixolydian. Drop to Dorian. Drop to Aeolian. Drop to Phrygian. Drop to Locrian. And drop to E flat Lydian. And so on, and so on. Using the exercise in this way, you can play all 7 modes based off of F. You can then hop downwards, start the exercise again over at E Lydian. You can then work through all 7 modes from the E note, hop down to E flat, play all 7 modes, then all 7 modes of D. Work your way down the fretboard until you've got no space left. You can also reverse the direction of the exercise. Let's start with F Locrian. Raise the 5th note to get yourself F Phrygian. Raise the 2nd to get Aeolian. We're working backwards. Raise the 6th to get Dorian. Raise the 3rd to get Mixolydian. This is exactly what we did before, but the opposite direction. Now up to Ionian. And up to Lydian. Now if we raise the root an octave by half a step, we end up with F sharp Locrian. F sharp Phrygian. F sharp Aeolian. F sharp Dorian. F sharp Mixolydian. And so on. So that's modal cycling. One of the nice things about that exercise is it gives you a lot of chances to go through a lot of iterations of all of the modes. A good example is if I started at the 12th fret on A Lydian and worked my way down the fretboard to the left, I'd get a chance to play all of the modes in A, then all of the modes in A flat, all of them in G, all the way down the fretboard until B or B flat or so. Once I got down to the far end of the fretboard, I could reverse the exercise, raise 1 note at a time, and work my way all the way back through the length of the fretboard if I wanted to. So within 5, 10, 15 minutes, that gives you a lot of practice with the modes. The other important benefit of this exercise, though, is that it's great ear training. Don't just focus on what your fingers are doing and what your picking hand is doing. Really open up your ears and listen to how each of these modes sounds. I ordered them so that you can hear the similarities between any 2 consecutive modes, but you can really focus in on the note that's different, and that gives you the characteristic of each mode. So I hope you enjoyed that exercise. Feel free to give it a shot. Contact me if you have any questions. Again, I'm Larry Schroff with Breakneck Guitar. Have fun.